I'm April Brooks, the principal here of Johnson Traditional Middle School, and I'm a proud principal here in JCPS. I'd like to thank all of you all for being here today and allowing my school to be the host school for this wonderful event. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, who is the Executive Director of EVOLVE502, Marilyn Cole. Let's give her a warm Johnson applause.
Thank you so much. We're so glad to have you all here with us today. We are excited to be at Johnson Middle School, named for the great educator and civil rights leader, Dr. Lyman T. Johnson. We're so grateful for Dr. Brooks for hosting us this morning. She and her team are doing a fabulous job in support of our youth. Middle school is such a formative time for students as they really begin to find their independence. They're full of curiosity, and they keep us on our toes for sure. So we're glad to have their energy with us today and have so many that have joined us this afternoon. Dr. Brooks has introduced most of our special guests, but there are a few others that I also want to recognize. Tess McNair, who you'll hear from again here in just a minute, is the Executive Director of the CENS Foundation. I too need to recognize my boss and the chair of our illustrious EVOLVE502 board, Mary Nixon, who is with us today. I also need to recognize, I know you did recognize our JCPS board chair, Diane Porter, but she is also an EVOLVE502 board member, and she is also representing the Urban League today as well. So thank you for being here, and we're glad to be in your district this afternoon. We were expecting a few council members to possibly join us. I know we're competing a little bit with the glide trip that's taking place this week, so we may have some of those that will come in a little bit later, but we want to recognize our Metro Council members as well. Henry Heiser is with us this afternoon. He is a true education champion and one of our very early supporters, and so we welcome him. And Mary Gwen Wheeler, who really needs no introduction, is an EVOLVE502 board member, chair of our fundraising campaign, and she is one of our community's most devoted education champions. And so we welcome her here today as well. Most of you know EVOLVE502 is a public-private partnership that is working to grow the educational attainment of our community and to ensure that every child in Louisville is prepared for college, career, and a successful, productive life. We are committed to breaking down the systemic barriers of poverty and racism that really create an uneven playing field for many of our youth. This is not easy work, and the pandemic and other social challenges that we have been facing are really magnifying the many barriers that impede academic success for our children. And while these are daunting times, community leaders and well-intentioned citizens of all shapes, colors, and sizes are standing up all over our city to do their part to bring about positive change. We remain steadfast and encouraged by the commitment and collaboration that's taking place in our community. A little over a year ago, we came together in a similar setting, I think we were at Jefferson at the time, and announced the launch of our EVOLVE502 scholarship for all eligible students in the JCPS class of 2021. At that time, we promised those students a 2-year tuition-free associate's degree, technical credential, or other certification from any of the Kentucky community and technical colleges like Jefferson, here locally, or Simmons College of Kentucky, our city's HBCU. And taking lessons learned from other promise programs across the country, we knew that tuition was not the only barrier to college success, especially for our lowest income students, historically marginalized groups in our community. So our lowest income students, those with household incomes of $40,000 or less, we are offering an opportunity grant of $1,000 per semester to help with those other costs of attending college. And I always say this, we all know if we're sending kids to college what that looks like. Housing, food, books, those kinds of things, or those life emergencies that just come up and hinder persistence. We also at that time shared more with you about our partnership with the University of Louisville to support opportunity grant recipients in the class of 2021. Opportunity grant recipients who earn an associate's degree through our program and remain Pell eligible will have the chance to attend the University of Louisville to finish a 4-year degree tuition-free. This is a true affordable pathway for our lowest income students to earn a bachelor's degree, and we're so thankful for that partnership. In April of this year, we gathered at Iroquois High School, where we announced a significant gift from the James Graham Brown Foundation to fund opportunity grants for the JCPS classes of 2021 and 2022. And Mason Rummel, president of the James Graham Brown Foundation, is with us this afternoon. Thank you so much for that support. Yes, that's worthy. And we also shared at that time that we were able to make the promise to all students currently in high school, a huge milestone for us. And this fall, we welcome that first class of EVOLVE502 scholars, 2 of which are with us this afternoon. Over 1,400 2021 JCPS graduates applied for our scholarship, and nearly 600 students are attending either Jefferson, Simmons, or one of the other Kentucky community colleges in the system. They are taking the next step in their journey towards a promising future. And we are so glad to have them with us here today, this afternoon, and really are very, very proud of their efforts. We are working very, very hard with our higher ed partners to do all that we can to support these students and ensure their success. Today, we are announcing yet another major milestone. We have met the fundraising challenge issued nearly 2 years ago to EVOLVE502 and this community by the CENS Foundation. We have raised the $15 million that triggered a $5 million match from the CENS Foundation, bringing our total funds raised to date to $21.6 million. And we couldn't have done this without the mighty, mighty leadership of, again, our campaign chair, Mary Gwen Wheeler. We've got a mighty but small group that is working tirelessly on this effort, Mary Nixon and my development officer, John Guthrie, and all in this community that have really stepped up and helped us with this. This is significant. It gets us closer to the halfway mark of our $50 million total campaign, and most importantly, it allows us to extend the promise of a post-secondary education to this year's 8th grade students, the class of 2026. And we are so glad that they are here with us today. This is a game changer in building the college-going culture in this community. As these students plan for high school, and we talked to a few today about their plans for high school, they already know that college will be possible. We are so grateful to the CENS Foundation for leading the community charge to promote and support post-secondary education for our JCPS students. I would like to invite Tess McNair, Executive Director of the CENS Foundation, to provide some remarks. Tess.
Thank you, Marlon. Thank you all. Wow, this is so exciting. The CENS Foundation put forth this challenge grant because, in the words of our co-founder, David Jones Sr., we want to help and we want friends to join us. And wow, you all really did join us. Thank you to the Brown Foundation. Thank you to the city. And so many other individuals and businesses who came forward to join us in supporting EVOLVE502 so that all eligible JCPS graduates can go to college without financial concern. And I can't think of a better thing for our community. So thank you, Marlon and your team. Great job, and keep going.
We so much appreciate Tessa's leadership also on our board and for this great support. And as she said, when the CENS Foundation asked, the community responded. Business, other foundations, and individuals pledged their support. Early gifts from Henry Heiser, Mary Gwen Wheeler and David Jones Jr., the Christine M. Brown Foundation, the Yum Brands Foundation, and Humana really helped set the pace. Recent contributions, again from the James Graham Brown Foundation, the Louisville Urban League, and I always have to note this is another nonprofit who was in the middle of raising their own $50 million for their campaign, and they stepped up and provided support to us. That does not go unnoticed. the Joe H. Wittenberg Scholarship Fund at the Community Foundation of Louisville, who's been a tremendous supporter of us from the very beginning, and the Sutherland Foundation continue to pave the way. And our most recent major gift put us over the top in achieving the CENS Challenge. That is the $3 million commitment from Louisville Metro government that was approved as part of the 2021-2022 Metro government budget process. We are grateful to Mayor Greg Fisher and the Metro Council members who met with us, they listened to us, they asked the tough questions, and made this gift possible for our students. We welcome Mayor Fisher and ask him to share a few words with us today.
Thank you, Marlon, and good afternoon, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. This is like a dream coming true, so a lot to celebrate. Someone once said that if parenting were an adventure sport, it would be the most courageous adventure sport in the world. I'll go one better. If parenting were an adventure sport, single mothers would be the most courageous participants. There are all sorts of reasons why people run for political office or decide to stay in political office. But one of the main reasons for my decision to seek a third term as mayor was because of all the single moms and the parents that I've met and the mighty struggles they have to help keep their kids safe, their families together, hoping for better lives, hoping for the best, and their struggles were unfinished business for me. And I was committed to doing everything that I could to give these mothers and parents a tool to brighten the future for their children and for their families. Part of that commitment was making sure that the EVOLVE502 scholarship was funded. So here's the great news. As we've heard, thanks to the very generous grants and very successful challenge fundraising, every eligible Jefferson County Public Schools high school student, and now this year's current 8th graders, can go to college tuition-free, thanks to EVOLVE502 Promise scholarships. Yeah. This is a huge deal for our city. Every eligible student, meaning yours, two single moms, parents, caretakers who have worried and wondered about this. And we all know so many people that want this dream, but they just don't know how they're going to pay for it. So think about this for a moment. This is everybody. Doors opening instead of closing, possibilities instead of inevitabilities, all within reach. And starting at even younger ages, our students and their families will know this is available to them as well. Imagine what they can do with the energy once spent worrying about, how am I going to pay for this? That's gone for everybody here in our city. And here's what the data shows us, and we know this is so powerful. The number one way to break the chains of poverty is a post-secondary degree or credential. And now you don't have to worry about that financially. All of this is thanks to institutional and individual efforts and commitments to the better and brighter tomorrows for students and their families today. Maybe the most wonderful aspect of this announcement, we didn't think about that, Mary Gwen and Mary, when we're putting all this together, is the wonderful partnership of people that came together to make this happen in our community. We're all thrown in together with our kids, and it's tough to raise money. And this is a significant amount of money, over $20 million, so it takes a lot of people. The Promise Scholarship and Opportunity Grants are the culmination of years and years of building strong partners across government, education, business, community organizations, and more to address educational attainment in our city, to build the pool of educated workers needed to attract and retain businesses in our city. So we've answered tomorrow's call with today's announcement. In a moment, I'll mention several by name, but I'd like to start by commending Metro Council for supporting our administration's $3 million commitment to EVOLVE502 in this most recent budget. This was really critical, and it took a lot of good salesmanship and relationship building with the council by the EVOLVE502 team so that they understood how impactful this $3 million is. The mayor's office, we just put the money forward in a budget, but they have to approve it. So without them and without the mayor's office, we can't get this done. So this decision was critical because it unlocked what is a total of $5 million in challenge grants that you just heard about from Tess with the CENS Foundation. So a big thanks to CENS and a big thanks to Metro Council. Another game changer was the earlier foundational work of 55,000 degrees, and then Cradle to College framework, which then led to EVOLVE502. I had the privilege of chairing a lot of this work and seeing the flexibility that came along as we evolved with our learning throughout this entire process. I'd like to specifically mention and thank Mary Gwen Wheeler. I call her our matriarch. It's a compliment, Mary Gwen. Okay. But she was 55K's founding CEO and led us through almost this entire journey. So when we say it's taken a while, that's been a dozen years ago now. But good things come to those who work hard and wait, and this is certainly outstanding. So Mary Gwen was our founding CEO and catalyst for much of the funding. We asked Mary Nixon if she would come on board, knowing she was tireless and relentless, and she likes raising money for education in particular. So Mary, you came along at a particularly great time for the organization. Marlon Cole came along to be our new leader as we pass the baton and move into the future. Ashley Parrott, who was with my office for many, many years, and I call her the heart and soul of a lot of this activity, was always there and always pushing us forward. Audwin Helton, who's not here with us today, has been a constant force with 55K, EVOLVE502, 15K, just as Alice Houston was as well. And then Mason Rummel with the James Graham Brown Foundation for all of their devotion to the cause. And I mentioned Mason, I want to say in particular, Mason took the unusual step of being the CEO of a foundation that really got involved in the, not just the strategy, but the tactics and the day-to-day problem solving to keep pushing this forward. You said you're never going to give up on EVOLVE502 and 55K, and you did not, both with your time and attention, but also with the money of the foundation, so thank you for that. And of course, this would not have happened without JCPS's committed leadership. And think about this from Dr. Polio's perspective when he can talk to the parents of the students right now and just say, move through JCPS and then go to college. It's in effect free now. That's an amazing thing. Free public school to 12 and now through 13 and 14 as well. So I'd like to thank you, Dr. Polio. Thank you, Chair Porter. You've been there every step of the way as well, and the entire school board for helping us get to this day. So as your mayor, over there, even mayor people who can't vote like you all, I can't tell you how gratifying it is to be part of an effort that will change people's lives, to change our city's life in the way that delivery of college and credentials does to so many more of our children. And our community, especially this community of partners, has stepped up to build back better, to move Louisville forward, and to help a lot of parents, including the parents who inspired me, rest a little easier and know that the community stepped up to help their kids on the path to their dreams. That's a good day. So we got a big check that we're going to hand out here.
Thank you so much, Mayor. That was exciting, just exciting. And as he mentioned, it is so rewarding to see all aspects of our community coming together to support our students in this very special way. We are sending strong messages to our children that they matter, that we have high expectations of them, and that is so critically important, and that we are willing to invest in their futures. And I just have to take, as I was sharing with a few others, just have to take a moment to take a breath. We have so many challenges. We've not addressed them all. We know that. We still have so much work to do in this community. But it feels so good to know, in spite of everything, we are still standing here today, committed. And that's what's so critically important, committed to moving this work forward and supporting our students in any way that we can to make them successful. So I just want to take a breath for a minute and say, wow. And with the incredible team that we have been able to assemble, all of the leadership is so critically important at the board level and folks that have and led us this way. But I have such a committed team of staff members who give it their all every day, focused on this work. Kanina Porter is here with us as well. I mentioned John earlier, our director of scholarships, and her team, student success team that's really in the trenches, working with JCPS staff and our higher ed partners to really make a difference and make this possible for our students. So thank you all so very, very, very much. And I now want to welcome Dr. Marty Polio to the podium so that he can share more thoughts about what this scholarship program means for his students as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlon. It's exciting to be here. First off, I want to thank Dr. Brooks for hosting us today here at Johnson. I can tell you as a former principal who had a few of these myself over a 10-year principal career, you lay awake at night the night before thinking, is there going to be a fire alarm go off while we're in there? And now it's 1:31, and if these talking heads don't be quiet, we're going to have to, the buses are leaving soon. So I know how stressful it can be being a principal on a regular day, much less bringing all of us in here. So thank you very much for hosting at this wonderful school. I can't say enough about how important this is. I said as a high school principal, often we would have freshmen come in our freshman academy, and we would start talking to them about college. And especially high poverty, at-risk students would look at us like we were crazy. That's a reality that is just not possible for them. And so we try to convince and say, how can we do that? And let's, look for scholarships. Let's look for ways where you can get financial support. But you could still see on their face that this wasn't a possibility. And these were kids that were already in high school. When I first got this job as superintendent, and I started being a part of EVOLVE502 and hearing the goal of having college paid for every JCPS graduate, it seemed like that's not even a possibility. But here we are now, last April, awarding all of our kids in high school that free tuition to JCTC or Simmons College of Kentucky, and possibly that 2 additional years at the University of Louisville. And I can't say enough. We had 600 students, nearly 600 students who are in college right now that are freshmen in college taking advantage of that. That's possibly 600 kids who may not have been in college if it was not for these efforts. And now here we are dropping into middle school. And so, we talk a lot up here, but I think it's important we see the faces of the kids that are going to be impacted by this. So I need some 8th graders. Who's 8th graders? Come on up here. Come on. You all are 8th graders back there. You told me. Come on up too. Don't try to hide. Yep, line up. How about you right here? And then I'm going to pass this down. We're going to do names.
Lily,
Chastity,
Juliana,
Anaya,
Ethan,
Elizabeth,
Vic.
All right, so I think it's important to see these young people. I mean, these are the faces of young people, that the thousands that we have in 6th grade or in 8th grade right now, who are the ones that are benefiting from this. We get to tell these 7 young people right here, your college is paid for. Your college is paid for. Think of the power of that. Before they've left middle school, they know they are guaranteed a 2-year scholarship. Some of these folks can get the opportunity grant. There is a 2+2 opportunity where they could have the opportunity to go to the University of Louisville and have it paid for as well. This is a game changer for these students. This is a game changer. They know they have this no matter what. And I'm so proud to just be a part of this team that has done this for these young people. And each and every year as this goes by, we will continue to grow the amount of students who apply for this, who know about this, who go to college because of this. And I think when I talk to other superintendents around the nation, they're just shocked when I say, in Louisville, Kentucky, all JCPS students are guaranteed college tuition paid for. And that is something that should be celebrated greatly and widely across this community. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I just want to thank a few people before I sit down. Obviously, our board chair, Ms. Diane Porter, who has been a champion for this cause and for students of JCPS for many years. Thank you, Ms. Porter, for all of your hard work. I also want to thank this unbelievable community who has gotten behind this. So the CENS Foundation has just been a fantastic partner. James Graham Brown Foundation. We know Mayor Fisher and Metro Government, Metro Council, thank you for this large check sitting right in front of us that will go right to these young people. Louisville Urban League, as we talked about, who is always stepping up to support JCPS, and the Community Foundation of Louisville, and so many others. Thank you, Mr. Heiser. We appreciate you, as always, for what you do. And then finally, I have to say thanks to Marlon Cole and the EVOLVE502 team. They've been a great partner with us, not just raising money for scholarships, that's a huge thing, but also supporting our kids, especially through this pandemic. We have been partners in creating community hubs, tutoring kids, supporting kids, all the wraparound services that we are working to provide kids. And I know it's been tireless work. You can see how important this is to her because she cares about the children of this community. And we can't thank you enough for your work. Always thank you so much, everybody. Mary Gwen Wheeler, we appreciate your support. Mary Nixon also as well. Thank you to all. This has been a true community and team effort to get into where we are now. And I think we'll look back at this in time and say it was a game changer for our young people. Thank you.
With all of the struggles and challenges our students and families have faced over the last 18 months, we're committed to providing hope and promise, ensuring that this is the easiest time in our city's history to attend college. While we will take some time today to celebrate, our work is far from over, as we've said. Our goal is to fund opportunities for students through the class of 2034, and we need continued support to make this opportunity available to a full generation of students. As of Monday this week, and I'm sure the number has gone up, we have over 600 applicants already for the class of 2022. So they're ready for us. We've got to be ready for them and make this possible for them.